questions for you. Who wins the series? How many games? And who's your finals MVP?
Well, you guys know that I desire spice. So I would love to see a 7-game series. I'd even settle for 6 where it's tied at 2-2. But come on. With all due respect to Miami, this is a mismatch. Lakers in 5. And I'm maybe being generous with the 5. So Lakers in 5. The only times in NBA history we've seen a team even remotely comparable to this Miami team win the championship was 1979 with Seattle. Remember, they had Gus Williams, Dennis Johnson, Jack Sigma, downtown Freddie Brown. They beat Washington, right? But both of those teams were #1 seeds. So Seattle had done it all year. They had been to the finals the year before. We knew they were a good team. Then 04 Detroit with Chauncey Billups and those guys. And even though none of those guys were superstars, Chauncey was a #3 pick. Rasheed was a #4 pick, Rasheed Wallace. Rip Hamilton was a #7 pick. So these were stars in college that were really expected to have great NBA careers. And then in the other locker room, the Lakers, we know, were drama central with Kobe and Shaq. And, you know, Kobe had his issues going on in Colorado. So those were all circumstances that contributed to those losses. None of that is here, okay? So Miami doesn't have that type of talent, and the Lakers don't have that type of drama. They got the 2 best players in the series by a mile. They've got more experience by a mile. They're just as motivated as Miami to win it. They're bigger by a mile. So I think Lakers in 5. As far as MVP, look, I think there is a good chance that it's Anthony Davis. He was, you know, in that Denver series early on, he was looking like the MVP of the series until he forgot how to rebound in the last 3 games. And then LeBron obviously poured it on. But I'm going to go with LeBron to win the MVP because I just think he's going to be he's so motivated to get his 4th ring. It's right there in his grasp. He knows what this means for his legacy. And while, yeah, he may have forgiven Pat Riley and all that, he still remembers that he was told he made the biggest mistake of his career when he left Miami. I'm sure he is going to come out and play tremendous basketball. I think he averages close to a triple-double, if not a triple-double. He may average a triple-double, but I think LeBron ends up being the MVP.
Yeah, Chris, you're right. Basheed was the 2nd pick in the draft. He was in the draft with Joe Smith went 1, Sheed went 2, Stackhouse went 3. If you remember back when that draft, because all of them came out of the ACC because Joe Smith came from Maryland. You know what? Okay. I want to say 5, Chris, but I've been saying 6, and it's been bringing us good luck, so I'm going to ride with 6. I said they're going to beat Portland in 6, Houston in 6.
They keep winning in 5, though.
I know, but so I got to keep going with 6. So I don't want to upset the apple cart. And I agree with you. Look, the Heat are a very good team. They're very well coached. They're mentally tough. They're great in crunch time. And a lot of times these games come down to who can execute in crunch situations, 5 minutes, game within 5 points. And the Heat do a very good job of that. But for me, the way AD and the way LeBron is playing, and our KCP played really well. We got Rondo played well. The last 3 games, Rondo was game 2, Rondo was outstanding. But Rondo's been really, really good. And so with that being said, I like the Lakers. I really do. I felt at the beginning of the season they were going to beat the Clippers, and I wish we had an opportunity to beat the Clippers. So you wouldn't come out here and jump out. The Clippers would have did this. The Clippers would have done that. We could have shut that down, but we won't get that opportunity until next year, maybe, because we'll be right back. We don't know about you guys. But I'm gonna take the Lakers in 6. I'm going to say LeBron win Finals MVP, but only slightly. I say there's a 45% chance. I'm giving AD a 45% chance of winning it. But I think the storyline and the narrative, LeBron James in year 17, whoo. And even if he doesn't win Finals MVP, Chris, it's not like we can say, man, they carried LeBron to that title. The dude was first team All-NBA unanimously. Right. He finished 2nd in the MVP voting. You don't get carried if you play that well. And you can't carry him because if LeBron doesn't play well, they're not going to win. And I expect him to play exemplary.
My turn.
I would add just, Skip, if I might, quickly. if it's close, you know, if both AD and LeBron are exceptional and it's close, LeBron's going to get that nod. We all know that because of the narrative.
Now it's my turn. The Clippers would have beaten the Lakers. That's the last time I'm going to say that. Or maybe the second to last time I'm going to say that. Chris Broussard, my man Shannon Sharp across the table, is giving the Heat 2 games in a desperate attempt to legitimize LeBron James finals competition because you cannot legitimize the Miami Heat. I love watching the Heat play. I think their intangibles are stronger than the Lakers' intangibles. That's why I love them, because they share the ball and they make clutch shots and they love each other. And it's fun to watch because they play so hard every play. They're just not good enough when the two best players by far on the court belong to the Lakers. I'm sorry, the tallest Heat starter is 6'9" Bam. He's going to have to deal with Dwight and JaVale, and not to mention Anthony Davis. And his head's going to be spinning because it's too much firepower. It's too much length. It's too much height. He's going to get in foul trouble. I'm sorry, this isn't, as Chris said, mismatch. This is an epic mismatch. And again, the Heat are relegated because they're so small to trying to play a zone. The ultimate zone buster to me is the point guard for the Lakers named LeBron James. He will create cracks in that zone. He will power through cracks in that zone. He will get in the lane repeatedly. He'll get Bam in foul trouble. He'll get to the free throw line, and he will get wide open threes for Danny Green and Kuzma and playoff Rondo, who, by the way, might be the third best player on the floor because I don't know what got into him. He's a 32% career three-point shooter, and in the bubble where there's no fans, there's no depth perception really, you're just kind of shooting into the vast open darkness behind the rim. I don't know, he loves it. He's making 45% of his threes. It's just too much. It's too good. And finally, the motivation is all on the Lakers side because Chris brought it up, but LeBron still has a quiet little bitter chip on his shoulder. He's not going to acknowledge it publicly, but Pat Riley went after him publicly. Pat Riley's infamous quote is, "Smiling faces with hidden agendas." He accused LeBron of going traitor on him, of leaving him high and dry and going home to Cleveland. And I'm sure LeBron will be quietly driven by that. And finally, the Lakers are not quietly but openly driven by, this one's for Kobe.
Yep.
And it should be for Kobe. We get it. This is destiny. It's like motivation is all Lakers, and LeBron is going to be the MVP. He needs this MVP to say, I'm the first one to do it for three different teams. And I just think it's a done deal.
If we don't get it this year, we'll come back and get another one next year.
They should award the MVP tonight pregame. Yes, I'm serious. He's going to be the MVP because Chris is right. The narrative is overpoweringly for LeBron.
Yeah.
He should have won the regular season MVP. Makeup call, this one.
Go ahead, Chris.
Well, and the difference, too, remember with Miami, they were able, obviously, to shut Giannis down and wall off the paint. Giannis isn't as good of a driver as LeBron.
No.
You know, he's a straight line driver. No. He doesn't get to the hole. Like, they're not going to be able to stop LeBron, I don't see, from getting to the rim. And they don't have the length. You mentioned this, Skip. Bam Adebayo is a great rim protector for a 6'9" guy, but he's 6'9". They don't have a bunch of 7-footers that are going to challenge LeBron at the rim. So, yeah, look, again, I'd love to see a great competitive series, but this has Lakers written all over it.
And if you look at the situation is reversed. You mentioned the Pistons. If I'm not mistaken, the Pistons had Ben Wallace, Rasheed Wallace, and if I'm not mistaken, I think Eldon Campbell was also on that team that they could throw at Shaq. Well, now they have AD, they got JaVale, and they got Dwight Howard that they can throw at Bam. Well, in actuality, the Heat only have one player that they can put on all those bigs.
But to Chris's point, Shaq and Kobe were at war by that point.
It's my team. It's your team. No, it's my team.
And LeBron and AD are like brothers.
Yeah, we're step brothers.
Yeah. So, Chris, final quick thought, final X factor. I'm going Heat in 5 just because I'm going to give them one game just because I love watching them. But there's one X factor here, and it's Andre Iguodala. The problem is the X factor is now 36 years of age. He's about 1 year older than LeBron. But very quietly, Iggy has gone to 6 straight finals. Is that good? That's pretty good, right? And Iggy, over his career, has done, dare I say, the best job anybody has done consistently on LeBron. You can throw all those numbers at me because LeBron still has his way. But Iggy has held him to 44% shooting in the playoffs versus his usual 51%.
Yeah.
Okay? So, but the problem is Iggy doesn't even start for them. Is he going to play 30 minutes on LeBron?
And then if you play that zone, how much is Iggy actually going to be on him?
Okay, well, you'd have to box and one.
Yeah.
That's what you'd have to do.
But the difference is,
I think you'd have to look, if you're looking for reasons that the Heat might win, you can say, okay, can Bam Adebayo make it tough on AD? He can guard AD probably as well as you can guard him, right? And then Jimmy Butler, Iguodala, and Jay Crowder, that's a trio to throw at LeBron. We know they're not going to stop him, but they could probably do as well as anybody in today's NBA on him. So I think you're hoping for that if you're a Heat fan. And Iguodala told me something when he left Denver and first went to Golden State.